So they tried in a bunch of different ways to overthrow this thing. And in the wake of that, so throughout 2021, what has been done that makes it more likely, and what has been done that makes it less likely? So we know that in a lot of different states, they have taken more control over the powers of the Secretary of State, the ability to throw out the people in charge of state elections. They have suppressed the vote in literally hundreds of different ways. They're doing these audits and announcing that they will be coming in other places, like they're targeting Atlanta, in Georgia. Like there's a lot of stuff that seems like they are setting up to do this again. Michael, what has been done at the state level or at the federal level that you feel significantly lowers the chance that an attempt to overthrow the election in 2024 would be successful?
Well, I think some of the intangible stuff, like the fact that it's in the public zeitgeist, that people are aware of it and people are running for office and people who are running states understand that it's not acceptable, and that those people, again, are gonna have louder voices. I think you talked about Georgia, and that to me is sort of the scariest state, because it's a state that I think they're gonna go after these purple states, as it were, states that went Democrat, that had previously gone Republican, maybe Arizona, but certainly Georgia. I think the biggest safeguard there would be electing Stacey Abrams to governor, and not to have the state controlled by the people that tried to push Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State, out, who tried to push back against a governor who was actually Brian Kemp doing the right thing, and not that I'm not a Brian Kemp fan, obviously, but doing the right thing against what was against that wave. It needs to be contagious. So that's a big part of it, is that it's out there, but also people have to understand that electorally they can stop it as well.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought that up. We should remember that one of the reasons some of this stuff failed was not because you had Democrats in the right places, but you had some Republicans that for all of the myriad ways that they're likely troglodytes on basically every policy, they weren't willing to literally just steal the election. And many of them, that's the end of their career as a result of that. And in a lot of those positions, we are not going to have those next time. They are going to be replaced by Trump loyalists. And then of course you have the Republican senators and all of that didn't take the right position even the first time around. And I'm sure the people running in Republican primaries for 2022, I wonder which way they're going to lean on these sorts of things if they want to get Trump to support them and win these elections. So I don't know, I am horrified. My experience over the Trump years has been that relying on anything that is not strictly codified in law has failed time and time again. That the traditions and norms have failed. The expectation that shame or public awareness could affect behavior has failed. Not always. There are some Republicans who voted to impeach Donald Trump or convict Donald Trump. But the vast majority, 2 times around, were like trying to in advance overthrow an election and then trying after the election overthrow the election. It's 2 different impeachments. Just stood with him because at the end of the day, they could succeed. And so they went with the power rather than considerations of the public and stuff like that. And so I don't know, I feel like if they had better numbers, like next time around, I'm just very worried, Michael. I guess I'm not an optimist when it comes to this sort of thing.
Well, yeah, you should be worried. I'm worried too. I'm not an optimist, but I'm an optimist, but I'm not optimistic about this, because what you said that's most important is that they've shifted norms, and when norms shift, it becomes less predictable, and that's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah. Really fast, I just want to mention, we're not going to go in depth on this, but there was news earlier today that lawyers are prepping an attempt to get the Scottish government to investigate Trump's golf course, Turnberry. One of the key things of this seems to be the odd manner in which it was bought. Trump bought it with cash after a career of borrowing money for these sorts of things, and they believe there could be some sort of shadiness there. There isn't much that's been publicly revealed that I'm aware of to this, so I don't have much to say, but just understand that his potential legal troubles at the very least continue in multiple countries. Any thoughts about that, Michael?
No, I mean, that's the stuff that could really actually get Donald Trump. Our business dealings like this. If the politics part is not going to be successful in getting Donald Trump or having some stink on him that people run from, at least in business, they're going to. He's already dropped out of the Forbes 400, which is, the worst thing that could possibly happen to him.
Yeah, it's an early bit of Schadenfreude here at the Damage Report. But anyway, and I'm just gonna throw this out. It was just one of the lingering thoughts. Sometimes I get nostalgic. Robert Mueller never made Trump testify in person. Isn't that crazy in hindsight? Like a multi-year investigation into all of these alleged crimes. His lawyers just submitted some vague answers written down. It's amazing. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.